Aerus Z Shoes Suck. This is a video about why they suck, okay? Welcome to Badminton Rants episode 8. I'm not in a car, I'm in a bed. But we're gonna be talking about why Aerus Z shoes are overrated, why they suck. So if you guys don't know, right, the Aerus Z is one of 3 lines that Yonex sells. They sell the Aerus line, which is their fastest performance shoe. We have the Eclipsion line, which is their stability series, and then they have the 65Z3 series, which is like their all-rounder, tried and true shoe. They have a few spin-off series, but these are more mid-range and more unique concepts. For the most part, people should be paying attention to these main 3 shoes. So let's talk about why Aerus shoes aren't really performance shoes. So the main claim to fame that the Aerus shoes have is that they're lighter, which should in theory make you move faster. So from a purely mathematical, a purely logical standpoint, right, this makes sense. If I'm carrying X amount of weight and I'm using this amount of force, I will move faster if X is smaller, sure, right? But the savings don't make sense, okay? So I don't know the exact weights of the shoes. They're somewhere online. I'm too lazy to look them up. It doesn't matter. We can even overestimate, okay? We can even be very, very generous and say, like, the Aerus shoes compared to a normal pair of shoes will save you 1 kilogram of weight, which it doesn't. It's probably going to save you like 200 grams at most, okay? So let's say it's 1 kilogram for the sake of comparison. How much faster or how much sooner are you going to get to shots in badminton if you're carrying 1 less extra kilo, right? Really not that much, like barely noticeable, okay? Barely noticeable. And this is if I'm over exaggerating 1 kilo. When the real weight savings is probably going to be like 200, 300 grams, right? You're barely going to notice, and your opponents are barely going to notice you getting to shots earlier. So the problem itself is not in the actual savings and getting to the shots earlier. It's in what they're removing in order to achieve this. Because think about it. In order for the shoes to be lighter, there has to be less material than other shoes they're making, right? So it still has a carbon plate, right? It still has a cushion. It still has like an upper sole. It still has to have laces. It still has to have everything that makes it a shoe. So where can they remove material in order to reduce weight? Either A, they have to change materials and use different entirely materials, so maybe, I guess, less durable material, right? Or they have to use less cushioning, right? And unfortunately, they do both. So, right, they're using thinner walls on the shoes, so the shoes will not be as durable, so you're gonna have to replace them more often. And also, they're using less cushioning, right, in the shoes, which makes the whole experience way less comfortable, which is like why I hate Aerus, right? And the problem isn't all Yonex. It's like, yes, it's Yonex's fault for like insinuating that Aerus can make you a faster player, but it's also kind of like people's fault too, and like believing that, like, guys, shoes, assuming they're all good badminton shoes, are not gonna make you faster. What's gonna make you faster is hitting the gym, is doing footwork training, right? It doesn't really matter what shoe you're wearing, as long as it's comfortable, as long as it's a proper badminton shoe that grips the floor, right, and provides you the support. And you see this all the time. You see so many people, at least I do, in my comments or on Facebook or in my Discord. Join the Discord, by the way, if you haven't already, that are complaining about like feet pain or feet issues, or like pain, especially when it comes to landing with Aerus shoes, right? Or they can be like, dude, my shoes like suck or they hurt. Why do they hurt? Like, what should I get? I'm like, what shoes do you have? And it's almost all the time, it's always Aerus shoes, right? Because they have no cushioning, one. Two, there might be some, issues with the actual footwork itself, right? But the Aerus shoes are not forgiving, right? If you have like even the slightest mistakes in footwork, you're gonna feel them, right? So what do I suggest instead? So obviously I suggest the Eclipsion Z's instead, just because, right? For me, they have the most technology out of the 3 shoes, right? They were the first ones to come with the radial sole instead of the honeycomb gum outer, right? They have the most cushion. They have carbon. They have like the solid semi one-piece sole, so they have more traction. They have more grip, right? The walls or the sides of the shoes have like that rubber skin layer, especially in the high impact areas, so they last a long time. I just got a new pair of Eclipse Z3s after like, I think it's been 2 years, right? And I'm on court all the time, and I wore these shoes down as much as I could. And if you really look at like the side by sides of the old ones versus the new ones, they're really all not that different, right? Like, sure, like the old one looks a bit beat up and the color is not as white and fresh, but like they're still good to go. But if you had tried that with Aerus shoes, good lord, they would not last. My last anecdotal piece of evidence is my girlfriend. I bought her pretty much every pair of shoes for Yonex, right? To figure out what she likes the most. 65Z3s, she was like, meh. Aerus Z's, she absolutely hated, right? She had the same issues. Her feet hurt. They were narrow, right? They were just not comfortable, right? And she, of course, also settled on the Eclipse Z3s. The ones for the girls actually look quite nice right now. They're like this white and mint. So that played a factor. But she also liked they were comfortable. They were grippy. She felt secure, right? So in the end, right, for me, it's a very obvious decision. Do I want a narrow, uncomfortable shoe where I might move faster? Sure. But the savings is like 0.1 seconds or 0.05 seconds, right? Very minuscule savings that doesn't matter to someone at this level. And I would argue even at the pro level, right? Or do I want a shoe that has saved me from spraining my ankle multiple times on footage, right? There have been many times on footage where I almost sprained my ankle, and I am positive it's because I was wearing Eclipse Z3s. I did not, right? Shoes that are comfortable, that I've used to train on court for 5 hours a day, 6 days a week while I was in Thailand, when I did super like one-on-one singles coaching in Korea, or training in Korea, when I was training in Singapore, right? Shoes that I know will keep me comfortable and not make me want to chop my feet off after a long session, and shoes that last a lifetime, or not a lifetime, but like a long time, right? So for me, the answer is very obvious. It's Eclipse all the way. Yes, they are a little bit heavier, but no, you will not notice them on court. Like, yeah. So yeah, that's the rant, right? Like, it doesn't make sense for me why people will want to like make their shoes uncomfortable. People that are fans of Aerus Z shoes, right? Because I know there are fans out there that people like Aerus Z shoes. I promise you, none of them are saying it's because they're comfortable, right? It's because they've learned to suck up the pain, and they like feeling like they're faster than other people, right? They like to think that they're better because they're using Aerus Z shoes, right? But no, you guys are sadly mistaken. 65Z3s are okay. For me, they sit a bit high off the ground. I prefer the Eclipse Z3s. I feel like I'm a bit more lower, so it feels a bit more stable. It feels easier to move side to side. So yeah, for me, really, like the choice is clear. It's always gonna be Eclipse for me. Yonex really does make the best shoes either. Also, sorry, like Victor Leaning, Mizuno, whatever, really doesn't have anything on the shoe technology Yonex has. I'm sorry to say. So that's it. Rant over. In recap, right? Aerus Z's trash. Just get Eclipse, please. Just try them once. I promise. You won't, if you don't like them, it won't be because they're not comfortable. I promise, right? It'll be for some other reason that may or may not be invalid. But yeah, comment down below what you guys think. This is probably the longest rant video I've made so far. We're actually close to the 10-minute mark now, so I'll cut this off. But yeah, again, please do not wear Aerus shoes. Okay, bye bye.